Hello and welcome. In the spirit of my brand new book, The Delicate Art of Transformation, I've been on a quest for truth. What does it actually take to create real, lasting transformation? And here you are on the precipice of something big. I don't think that's a coincidence that we should ignore. Welcome, my friend. Welcome to the True Transformation Summit. This is where true growth and transformation happens because sometimes it's about your mindset. You're working on your thoughts and your beliefs. Sometimes it's about connecting deeper with your body. Sometimes it's stepping into success and rewiring yourself for wealth. And sometimes it's a spiritual one. But when the right person says the right thing at the right time and it all clicks, those are the moments that make all the difference. And that is what this summit is here for. You're going to hear from some incredible experts who every single one I personally invited to be here because each of them have made an impact in my life. So listen with an open heart, do what they say, take what resonates, try the practices, get their free gifts, and let this space be the place where you find your next step. My name is Talia Joy. I'm your host. And if you want all the free gifts, the resources, and the only place where you can be entered for prizes, you can join the Insider Circle for free below. All right, without further ado, take a deep breath in. Think about what you are transforming, what you are here for. And let's dive into today's episode. Hello, Stephanie. Welcome to the True Transformation Summit. I am so excited you're here. How are you doing today?
I'm doing so good. Thank you so much for having me. I'm super looking forward to sharing with all of the amazing people who are tuning in.
Yes, this is going to be, it's going to be so good. Part of the reason why I reached out to you and asked you to be a part of this is I've been listening to your podcast. I was thinking about when it was. It was pre-pandemic, your energy around the quantum and expansiveness and your own spiritual evolution, being authentically you. It's so inspiring. So I'm really looking forward to this conversation. I've watched you go through transformations and you've watched me, and we've both been on quite the journey. So for the people that are new to you, can you just give us a little overview of your work and who you are?
Yes. So, hello, everyone. My name is Stephanie Sage. I started a beautiful community for spiritual entrepreneurial women back in 2016, 2017 called Spiritual Boss Babes. And at that time, I really didn't know what I was going to do or offer. I just knew that I wanted to bring women together that were like me, who were purpose driven, who had a big message in their heart, who had a burning fire in their soul to create their dream life and to be doing work that was deeply meaningful on a soul level. So I started the group, gathered the people, and they flocked to it. After about a year, my community blew up to like 30,000 women. And I was just sharing my wisdom and my lessons on my own journey, sharing how to grow their audience and impact, and just was sharing my wisdom. And my business grew, my impact grew, my community grew. I've evolved, as you have mentioned, that you've witnessed some of my transformations over the years. And it's been a really beautiful thing. I love supporting heart-centered women who have a deep calling in their soul to not just make an impact in the world, but to be their most liberated selves and to live their most like unleashed, fully expressed lives, really. And part of that just so happens to be doing work that you love. So, yes, I support people with their business and getting out there, but it's more so a you thing, the business of being you and letting that come out because ultimately that is what makes you magnetic to everything that you desire in life, in business, in relationships, and so on.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. I was going to say, how is the work that you're doing now or what you do influenced by your own personal transformation? But you're kind of answering that. It's like, it sounds like as you grow and evolve, you want to pass that light and that magic on. Would you say it kind of mirrors your own self-growth journey?
Totally. I it's basically the whole thing. Like my journey started when I was a teenager. I was in an abusive relationship from 14 to 20, and that was when I had my first spiritual awakening. That was when I really understood what it meant to step into my power and to love myself and to, that I could do anything I put my mind to. And that was ultimately where a lot of this was born from. And I've always had an entrepreneurial spirit. So yeah, it all stems from things that I've lived and been through and grew from. And then once I started my business, this isn't my first business. I've had a personal training business before this, but once I started putting myself out there online, I started realizing, oh shit, that's not the easiest thing. And these fear of judgment comes up and this and that comes up. And I know that other people experience that as well. And so, yeah, it's been a journey of my own evolution alongside of supporting other people and just having this calling to share the wisdom that I've gained and not to tell people what to do, but to support other people with really embodying the wisdom in their own heart and soul and owning that and knowing that that is so valuable, that there are people that are meant to hear your message, to have your support, to be around your light.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel that. And I feel that in your purpose and in your message. And, especially for women, I mean, I'm sure men as well. I'm just not an expert in that. But, that fear of judgment, putting yourself out there, dimming your light, people pleasing, feeling small, whether you're an empath and you feel things or, we're all working through our stuff. And I just love that you do it. You feel very, inclusive, like celebrating who you are and being, fully expressed no matter what that looks like and sharing your light. And I thank you so much for that. It's so beautiful. So I have a question when it comes to manifestation, because you've taught that. And it's funny because that was the beginning of this business of mine in this form. I also had other businesses, but I find that manifestation box, it gets to be a little bit suffocating in the last few years about, do this, and manifest. And I feel like you have such a bigger message behind what it means to quote unquote manifest something. And so I love that today we're also going to talk about manifesting from the I am and kind of this more evolved, maybe higher or broader awareness of what true manifestation is. So I'd love to start talking about that and how your work has evolved, but even just within how you see life and you see your journey and you see manifestation now versus maybe even a few years ago.
Yes, my perspective around manifestation has shifted a lot over the years. And you found me, I believe, when I was really talking a lot about quantum manifestation and how there are infinite number of potentialities and realities that already exist and everything. And obviously, yes, that's part of it. And it has evolved so much since then because I started realizing, not realizing, I knew this, that we're manifesting all the time, right? Where our inner world creates our outer world, and reality is just a reflection of our dominant beliefs and who we believe ourselves to be, right? So that leaves you to the question, well, who am I really, right? You're not this person named Talia. You're playing that character, right? You are pure consciousness, pure awareness streaming through a physical vessel. And so I started going deeper into not just who am I really, but really taking responsibility of my creation. And not in the sense that I was blaming myself for, things that I didn't want to happen and traumatic experiences that I've experienced in the past. However, I can see how my programming led to certain things that I experienced. And that wasn't, it is what it is. Like, I didn't feel good enough. I didn't feel worthy. I didn't feel lovable, whatever. And so going deeper into, well, who am I really? I started turning inward more and sourcing everything from within and realizing that true manifestation isn't actually about anything external. It's really about remembering that you have everything inside of you, which is a feeling, right? So, God, source, universe, all that is. That doesn't know lack. That is love, that is abundance, that's bliss, that's joy, that's all the things, right? And when we can source that from within ourselves and really tune into the awareness of pure existence, pure beingness, and know that that is innately who we are, then naturally the external reality in our external hologram will reflect that, that knowing, that embodiment, that resonance. So I have like a lot to say about this. I hope it's okay if I continue to go on and on, but
Yes, please.
I would like to share an experience of when this first started coming to me. I was in I started working with plant medicine back in like 2015, and I had a lot of really powerful experiences in that realm. And one of them was an experience where I met God in the mirror. And essentially, I saw my face changing to all these different faces, and I was like, whoa, I couldn't even see my real face. And then I saw all these like ascended masters and stuff, and I just was immediately flooded with like, oh shit, I am all of that. All of that is who I am innately, right? Not necessarily as Stephanie per se, but like that's the bigger I am. And then I had this just was flooded with, I like to call it existential bliss. And in that moment, like you sometimes have heard like religious people say, "Oh, the Holy Spirit took over my body," and like I would equate it to something like what that would probably that like, it's probably the same thing of like I was just flooded with love and bliss, to such extreme measures that I didn't know it was humanly possible to feel that level of bliss and love. And in that moment, I was just like, oh my God, this is reality. This is what I am. This is the truth. I don't need anything else. I'm grateful because I am. And I was like crying, crying, crying. And I was just telling my friends that I was with, I'm in awe, I'm in awe. Like I couldn't even really talk because I was so in awe of what I am, what God is. And I reclaimed the word God because I used to not say it because of religious upbringing and all of that stuff. And I had this great understanding in that moment of that is what I truly am. And it's so silly to worry about seemingly like unimportant things in the mundane reality. Like, why am I going to worry about this? Why am I going to doubt about that? This is the truth. And like that was the downloads that came in. But the funny thing is, shortly after that, I fell back asleep in my 3D experience. And there were circumstances that happened in my life that were causing me to feel fear and anxiety and worry. And even though I had that experience, it took me, that was, I think, 2 or 3 years ago, that long to integrate it. It's like coming full circle in this last year, because initially I felt nervous to say, oh, I am all that is. I am that. I am that I am. Because growing up, I was taught that that's like the most blasphemous thing that one person, like you could do. And I think that that's designed to keep people away from the truth of who they are. And obviously, like God, source, universe, whatever your word is greater than your human self to an obviously, because you can't wrap your head around the full magnitude of it. And it's expressing through all of us as the I am. And so when I talk about manifesting as I am, I'm not talking about I am wealthy, I am healthy. Like that's part of it. Like, yes, affirmations. I'm talking about the higher awareness that you are and remembering that and seeing through that awareness and realizing the difference between your human self, your ego, the you who likes to doubt and fear and come up with all these reasons why you can't do something, noticing the difference between that and your true self, your God self. And the fact that we can create in the now, this goes back to the quantum manifesting thing, like all we have is now, right? All we have is now. There are infinite possibilities right now. Everything is right now. And the I am is now, because I am is the first person in present tense. And it's also, it's all through, the scriptures and stuff like that, which I haven't taught it in that kind of way. I'm just sharing from my own experience and my own perspective of it. But it's now. And so, who do you say you are right now? Not just who you say you are right now. How do you say it is right now? And so often we're replaying the old stories, the programming, the things that happened in the past. And we think we need to do all this healing all the time. Not saying that there's no part in that, but it can be a trap, because all we have is right now. And so are you are you identifying with your human self who has all these things to heal? Or are you identifying with your God self who already knows it's perfect, whole, and complete, period? And that's the difference. And so that's like the gist of how I got into this. I mean, there's still a lot more that I will share, but I want to also, like, if you want to chime in and say anything, but yeah.
Yeah, I just love all of that. I feel it in the center of my being. And I wanted to touch on the sort of, it's all available to me right now, and how originally it's almost annoying when you're like, but I want to manifest money. It's all available, but my wallet's empty. And there's that disconnect, because something you touched on that I just want to almost zoom in on is like, we're still doing it for an end result. So I want money. Okay, all the abundance is here for you now. Okay, so I just got to find it so that I can have the money. Like, it's still this in between. But what you're speaking to is like, it's not even about that end result. It's about the here and now, because I am. And I know I'm now starting to say the same words you're saying, but I am abundance. Abundance in essence is, and in vibration and in yumminess and in pleasure, is available right now. But when we to go on the manifestation piece, we almost need to stop doing it for that end result and just do it to tune into the now, to just be. And it's like this magical portal of, how they say, detachment and, all this other stuff. It's like you're no longer doing it for the 10K, 50K, whatever K, for that end result. You're tuning into the I am, because it's bigger than all of that. And it's where your pleasure is and your well-being on the razor's edge of right now. But that's actually what allows you to soften, to receive the intuition or the clarity, or to raise your vibration, all these other things that we're trying to do for the end result. Do you know what I mean? It's like a shift in the why we're doing it and who we are being.
And there's nothing wrong with our having desires. In fact, our desires are our higher self calling us forward to claim that that's who we are now. You desire
Mm-hmm.
10K, 50K months, good, that's who you are right now. Since everything's happening right now, your 3D is just a reflection of your past dominant beliefs and what you've identified with. So when
Mm-hmm.
you're quote unquote manifesting as I am, you're really just choosing it continually until it shows up in your reality. But again, like you were saying, being aware of not just doing it because you want to get something, because that ultimately will lead you to feeling unfulfilled. Because there's a lot of
Mm-hmm.
successful people, I've been there too, where I reached a certain level and I still felt like I needed to be further along and I didn't feel fully fulfilled. And what people are actually seeking is union with the divine, union with who they really are. And they think that they want the money, the clients, the success, the love. And yes, all that stuff's amazing and can definitely add to our beautiful life experience. Like I said, nothing wrong with it. However, everything comes from inside of you. When you so stop looking out there for it and look within. And this is what I started to do. I started to do these I am meditations. And I would go within, and I would just focus on the first. I would focus on, I made a meditation like this. I'm actually creating a bundle about manifesting as I am. It's not ready yet, but and it will have this meditation. But essentially, I started with I am one with God, and with God all things are possible. Just focusing on that. And then I zoomed out and I just focused on I am. Just I am. And the one of the first times I did this meditation, I was literally only 20 minutes. And I had another bliss experience like the one I told you about when I was had the psychedelic experience. I reached that state of like existential bliss in my morning meditation, could not stop crying. I was just overcome with gratitude the whole rest of the day. I was like, I don't need anything because I have it all. And it was just this, oh my gosh, I'm going to do this every day. So I started meditating on I am every day, and the more I did it, it was like the old programming just started dissolving because of the truth that I am. And this isn't to say that things in my reality didn't come up that didn't trigger me and stuff like that. That stuff certainly did happen, but it's because the old awareness tries to cling on. When we're choosing something new, when you're choosing, this is who I am, this is how it is, period. Your old identity or the ego, whatever you want to call it, the programmed self, is going to be like, no, you're not. This is who we are. This is how it always been. And it will try to pull you back. And it will do that through thoughts that you have that are negative. It will do that through circumstances that show up that are the opposite from what you say you want. And it's in that moment that you sharpen your embodiment, that you are like, actually, this is who I am. And this is how it is. It doesn't matter that I'm not those thoughts. I'm not my circumstances. Reality, it has no power over me. I have power over it. And you go about your day. And if emotions come up in the process, great, let them come up, cry it out. But do not identify with the stories that are linked to the emotions. That's the key.
Mm, mm.
That makes
I
sense.
love that. Absolutely. Yeah. It reminds me, I'll say a lot that it's not really what goes on that's the problem. It's what you make it mean and what you
Mm-hmm.
make it mean about yourself. That's the
Mm-hmm.
part we don't want to spiral. We want to become more aware of the sort of sneaky bag of tricks that our mind wants to do and justify and, facts and data and all the stuff our mind wants to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that you're, just bringing us giving us a beautiful way to detach from that, because I'll do that. I'll say right now I'm experiencing fear, but I am not fear. I'm
Mm-hmm.
experiencing fear. Or some people will say, I'm a failure. Well, right now I feel like a failure, or right now I'm experiencing shame.
Mm-hmm.
That even separates from I am a blank, right? We got to be really careful what we say about ourselves, what we, think as fact, and kind of more, we can experience those emotions, but that isn't, as you're saying, that's not who you are. That's not who you
Mm-hmm.
actually are. So in within this and manifestation and what you're talking about, what would you say are some misconceptions or where people maybe misunderstand or are believing something that's not true?
Well, when they believe their thoughts, when they believe that they are their thoughts, when you identify with a thought, that means you're believing that's who you are, and that's usually what causes you to spiral into, more crappy thoughts and more crappy emotions because you're identifying with it. So, in my experience, and when I support clients with this, I help them learn how to create space between them and their thoughts, and just by reminding themselves throughout the day, like if they have something come in their mind, oh, that's the old programming. That's not who I am. That's just like a cloud passing by in the sky. I'm the sky. The cloud can pass by. It's okay. I don't need to attach to it though. But sometimes there are stronger ones that really do pull you in. And there are emotions there. And they need to be felt, because if we just deny, oh, I shouldn't be feeling this because that's not who I am, and if I feel this, then it means I'm gonna mess things up. It actually doesn't, because you still can know who you are, the truth of who you are, and feel the emotions, because you can still, like, kind of think of it this way. You're you're reparenting your inner child. I'm sure a lot of listeners have already done some of that work, maybe. And so your human self may be feeling a certain way because she believes something that's not aligned with her truth. I mean, obviously that's going to make you feel shitty. So, and maybe that thing has happened for a lot of times in her life. So those emotions need to come out. So whenever I am having an emotional release, which I've had a couple of them in the last couple of weeks, I've been moving through my own stuff that is old, and I'm not looking at it like, why is this coming up again? I'm looking at it like, wow, I have a lot of sadness that I haven't felt. And I'm going to allow myself to feel all of this. And I still know who I am. And I'm letting this out so I could create space. So it's learning how to navigate your mental and emotional landscape without identifying with it, if that makes sense. And when we can do that and have compassion for our human and do what makes us happy, then so much will shift. But it's ultimately when it comes to manifestation stuff, it's you're seeking fulfillment, and that comes from loving yourself, all aspects of the experience.
Yeah, that's so
I hope
beautiful.
that answered
Which
your
is that,
question.
yeah, absolutely. um, yeah, and that is that end result that we are looking for as well. Because, like you said, it's not wrong to want things, to have things. It's great. It's part of the tasting that we get to do in this experience. But when we
Hmm.
start living in that I am, living in that present moment, it's less about if I have this, then I'll be happy. And I choose
Hmm.
to find that little slice of happiness now. It's the be do have, right? I'm going to be
Hmm.
it now. I'm going to do things that I do from that happy place. And that's where we do get to have what we experience. Because as you started out by saying, the law of attraction and assumption and law of correspondence and cause and effect, like these are all going on all the time. They are true. And
Hmm.
so when you kind of fold all that into what you're talking about, it's like this powerful portal of feeling genuine peace and joy, and also getting to attract what it is that you say you want, that you know how you want to experience this life.
Hmm. Totally.
Beautiful. So, if there's one kind of big takeaway, and maybe even something that the listeners can do today, to kind of give a little bit of homework, something to be aware of, or a question to ask, whatever it is that you would offer, how would you sum all this up?
I would say number one, go within at least 10 to 20 minutes a day, even if it's just 10 minutes. Go within and start practicing being the observer of your thoughts instead of identifying with them. And beyond meditating on it, start to do that in waking life too, just being aware of your thoughts and you're correcting them lovingly. Or you don't even really need to correct them, just you know that that's not actually who you are, and create that separation between your identity and the thoughts. That will change a lot. And then the next thing I would say is to affirm your truth and live in the it's already done reality. I actually started creating music around this, as you know.
Mhm.
I started creating music with my AI muse all around affirmation music. It's around embodying the it's already done vibe. And I did that purposely because I believe in the power of affirmations, of singing or speaking things into existence using the vibration of your voice, and repetition for subconscious reprogramming. So
Mhm.
having like a song, and you guys could search Sage Songs affirmations on Spotify, really, really good affirmation songs that get in your head, that support you with elevating your vibe, getting into that energy of everything always works out for me. It's already done, and will support. I'm a big believer on music too. Just music, mantras. You may have heard me sharing about this stuff in my programs and stuff. But yeah, so having practice in the place, being aware, getting your body on board, and doing something that makes you feel good.
Yeah, I love that. I love your music. You're right. It gets stuck in your head and then you're like humming something. And then it becomes, as you guys know from, as you're saying, repetition and the subconscious. It's not just something fun you're singing or like, hey, I like that song. It actually starts to get into your brain. It's like, wait a minute, I am
Yeah.
unstoppable. And this life is like full of potential. Holy crap. So we'll definitely put the link to that below. And you have a free gift for everybody, which is the ultimate identity shift. I think it's a bundle. Can you tell us about that?
So the ultimate identity shift, or I'm calling it the it's already done identity code, is it's a guide slash workbook that goes deeper into how to actually shift your identity, the I am stuff a little bit, and how to embody more of the truth of who you are so that that begins reflecting in your reality. It's really powerful, especially if you're in a place of you're in a season of transformation, or maybe you're in an in-between phase where you feel like you have one foot in the new, one foot in the old. This workbook, this guide will support you in making the lasting shifts that are really powerful at the identity level. So yeah, that's what I have to start with, and the music, and enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Incredible. And I know you're also offering a prize. So everybody on the insider list will get entered in a draw. And you are offering us one of your beautiful power pendants, which I've been watching you make these like the whole time I've been following along your journey. And they're so gorgeous. You have such a talent.
I have one on right here. If you could see it,
Mm.
it's a little butterfly. So I started making my power pendants like 10 years ago. Crazy. And they're all hand sculpted crystal pendants that are really powerful. And they're like activation amulets. I like to say it's also like a physical representation of my work, which is all around supporting people with embodying their power and opening their voice. And obviously, if you're familiar with crystals, you know that they carry different energies and benefits. And so the pendants I make carry different energies and benefits depending on what crystals are used. And the designs are just so beautiful and intricate. And people who rock them say that they feel a difference. They are activators for what's already within you. Of course, it just amplifies and brings them out. So I'm excited to gift one to a special winner.
Yeah, thank you so much. And thank you for this conversation. I'm going to put all your links below, including your social media, real quick. If someone was to come just hang out, get a taste of your vibe, where do you hang out on social media the most?
I would say Instagram is the best bet. I'm at Instagram at It's Stephanie Sage. And you can find out all the other places I am on there.
Awesome. Perfect. So I'll put that below. Thank you again so much, Stephanie, for sharing this wisdom and magic. And I know it's going to help a lot of people. So thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for tuning in to the True Transformation Summit. If you want to take your own personal transformation deeper, grab a copy of my book, The Delicate Art of Transformation, and make sure to tune in to the next guest expert. Have a fantastic day.